Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Comedy Cellar Football Show and the Contender app, the Contender with a K. Download it today and get 24/7 sports talk, commercial-free, interrupted, especially if you live in the Washington, D.C. or Chicago area. Hello, everybody. My name is Dave Juskow, and I bring this show to you. Me and Mike Suarez bring this show to you every week at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for 2 fun-filled hours of hijinks and nonsense and some sports. Sports, when I talk about sports, I mean mostly betting and gambling. So today, as we were told, we were supposed to have Mark Norman and Tom Takar. They both canceled, as I had a feeling they might. That's the kind of people they are. I don't mean it that way. What I meant was that they are just busy, and they do tend to get a lot of bookings. And that's, again, not a knock on anybody else that's ever been on or is coming on today. But I feel like we have a good show, a better show, because Fred Stoller is going to be on, and he's great. And you know him, and if you don't know him, you'll know him when you see him. So he's terrific. He's been on everything. And my favorite part about him, and there's so many, and we used to work together back in the 2000s, on a show called Strip Poker on the USA Network, which that's whatever. But my favorite thing about him is he invented the character of Kenny Bania on Seinfeld. He invented it. He wrote that episode, which, of course, led to one of the greatest, horrible comics of all time. Bad comics, the foible for somebody besides Newman, which was so good. Anything Goes. Hello, welcome to the chat room. Nice to see you again. Our friend Marcy's not going to be with us today, which is very, she had to go see A Christmas Carol in Cincinnati. I'm sure that production is going to be top-notch, rival with Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol. You must be the ghost of Christmas past. I need to see that. That reminds me. Anyway, welcome to the show. I hope everybody had a great week. I just had wings last night, watched Monday Night Football, so it was a terrific week by myself. I've been lately going with a crew of people, and this week I just went by myself. I love it there. Scruffy Duffies. They're not paying me or anything. I just love it. I think they are the best wings in the city. If you ever come to New York, I was with a guy from Buffalo last night. Not with a guy, but I met him there, and he lives in Buffalo, and he's from Buffalo. And he said that the Anchor Bar, which I hate, because the Anchor Bar, which originated the Buffalo wing in Buffalo, which I've been dying to go to, a lot of people want to go to Hawaii, Peru. I want to go to Buffalo to have the original Buffalo wing. But they moved the Anchor Bar here but they got a franchise here on 57th Street between 8th and 9th Avenue, and it sucked. It was the worst wings I've ever had. The service there sucked. Everything about it sucked. Everything about it there sucked. And they closed within a year, as was my prediction when I called the manager over and said, you guys stink. But he also told me that the Anchor Bar is not the best Buffalo wing in Buffalo, and there are other places to go. Anyway, that all being said, I could talk about chicken wings for hours. Oh, Aaron, that's very nice. He says hi to Mike. It's nice to see everybody. And I'm glad you love Magoo, because nobody gets it. Anything Goes. Oh, sure. I used to have my opening gag back in the day. Oh, Aunt Judy's here. Hello, Aunt Judy, whose birthday it was last week. Speaking of Aunt Judy, her friend and my mother's neighbor and my mother won the football pool this week. They won the football pool this week. What, are you kidding me? That's why it's a joke. My mother's neighbor and my mother came in third. I mean, what is that? You know what I'm saying? Oh, Barry Corbin's with us this evening. Oh, wow, wonderful. That's the one I went skeet shooting with last week. I told him all about it. Good evening. Oh my God, I have videos of it. I'm going to have it on my podcast, the final Nightfly podcast, next Tuesday, which will come out. I'm going to have a video podcast as well. I'm going to have Molly Heckerling on, who we had on this show a couple weeks ago. This is Amy Heckerling's daughter, Harold Ramos's daughter. I just love talking to her about her parents, and she loves talking about them too. So we got no problems. And that ought to be interesting. That's on the final episode of the Nightfly, until I change the name to Just Gow in the City. Speaking of which, I don't know if any of you have seen the sequel to Sex in the City. It's called And Just Like That. It's on HBO Max. I've seen all the Sex in the City episodes back in the 90s. I thought it was very entertaining. I've had a lot of friends in them as well. And, so I figure I'll check this out. Everybody's talking about it. And I like when something's on HBO Max and I don't have to go to the movie theater. So I watched it, and it was awful. I've seen both Sex and the City movies. Am I homosexual? I don't know. Anyway, I've seen every incarnation of Sex and the City, so I'm going to watch And Just Like That. And I hated it. I was really angry because they're all my age. But I mean, Jesus Christ, if you're going to watch the first episode, I haven't seen the first out of 2 so far. All they do is talk about how old they are. And we're the same age. So I was just getting pissed off. And, I don't ever feel that old. I mean, sometimes I'm like, if I'm talking to somebody younger, I might say something, but they just nonstop. Hey, I'm a 57-year-old Jew. I don't know. Hey, what do you want me to do? I'm 55. I mean, it was really fucked up. Is that necessary? We know they're old. Why do you got to keep saying it? Why would anybody watching it who's going to be that age want to see you talking about it and be reminded how old we are and how disgusting we are? I mean, this show sucked. And then, as you may or may not have heard, Mr. Big, who we now know his name is John, which I think we saw in the final episode of the series, Chris Noth, dies. Yes. Spoiler alert. No, it's the worst kept secret in television. He wanted off the show, so he did this one thing, and he dies. Well, yeah, Skanks in the City, Alexis. Sorry, so Alex or Alexis. He dies on a Peloton bike. Now that's my worst fear because I used to do Soul Cycle before COVID all the time. And I was like, oh my God, I'm totally going to have a heart attack until you get into it. And then you're going to be able to do it. But the first time you do it, after you haven't done it in a while, I was very nervous in your 50s and you do that kind of stuff. Then, you panic. But anyway, he has a heart attack on the show after doing Peloton. So after the show airs, which was about 3-4 days ago for the first time, all Peloton stock goes down. It plummets. Think about this. I do stocks because I was part of that Reddit thing for people like me, idiots that do stocks. And they're, the stock market's trying to get rid of people like us because there are people who are clearly in Peloton who are getting out of a stock. The stock is dropping because a fictional character died in a fictional situation on a fictional show. I mean, that's really messed up. And maybe I am one of those people and need to get out of the stock market because that's insane. When the stock market goes down because there's a new COVID virus, that makes sense. The stock market goes down because they sign a $1 trillion bill or they don't sign $1 trillion. That makes sense. But if the stock market goes down because a fictional character in a fictional show about a fictional brand of New York City dies on a Peloton bike, you guys are idiots. Not you guys. Not watching the show. You know what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, Peloton's getting all upset. Like, we didn't know this was going to, we're shocked. We didn't know you were going to use it for this. We gave our sign off, but we didn't know he was going to die on the bike. But there's an article in the paper today saying, of course they knew. You can't put out a commercial with Chris Noth and Ryan Reynolds in 2 days after it happens to repair the damage unless especially they say during COVID times, you can't pump something out that fast anymore unless you were pretty sure you knew exactly what was going to happen. So if you want to get down on Peloton now because they've been lying to us, that's a good reason to go down on Peloton. Go down on Peloton. How are you? I'm here all week. But that all being said, I just want to tell you this weekend in football was crazy in the sense of the reason why my mother won and her neighbor won, women in their 70s and 80s might have won, is because Vegas got crushed this week. All the favorites went 11-1. And that never happens. And, the true bookies, it's sharps and suckers. If you don't know anything about gambling, I know this because I used to have to work for, some illegal places in the 90s because I owed a lot of money. So they made me work for them instead of breaking my thumbs like in Rocky. And there's sharps and suckers. The sharps are the ones that, don't want the favorites to win or aren't just always going to bet Tom Brady. You're going to bet the underdog and they play the middles. I don't even understand how that works. So if the line is 3.5 for Tom Brady to beat the Bills, if it goes down to 3, they'll take it because they're playing both sides and somehow they win money. But this time, all the favorites won because there's people like me who are a definite sucker who's going to bet Tom Brady minus 3.5 over the Bills, who's going to bet the Green Bay Packers minus 12, which they were right there. And those bookies got crushed on the Packers game. I heard about this. The Packers and something else too. Like everyone that was favored covered mostly. except ironically for the Browns, where Baltimore came back and lost by 2 points. But mostly everybody covered. So it's a very rare situation. And Vegas, they deserve it once in a while. I mean, we get crushed every week, so why not? But but I was waiting for that Bulls-Bucks game, and I had the overs on that game and the Bengals 49ers game. And I can't even believe it, because that all worked out too, because I thought, well, I'm going to lose the Bengals-Bucks game, and they were the Bengals 49ers game, because it was 20-6 going into the fourth quarter. But the 49ers tied it up, or the Bengals tied it up, whoever was up. And then they went into overtime. The Bengals kicked a field goal in overtime, and then the 49ers scored a touchdown. So it all worked out for Dave Juskow. Oh, and anything goes. Yeah, I was on board with the Lions plus 10.5, and they really blew it. And that should be a sign for us this week, who I think the Cardinals, who are pretty pissed off from last night, I think we have to go all in on the Cardinals this week. Obviously, we'll talk about that in the 7 o'clock hour with Nick Griffin. And yeah, I'm sorry, I'm looking at It's the It. It's a pity that Samantha didn't have her own series instead. I don't think anybody cares about Samantha anymore, but they really gave it to her. They're mad at her for not doing the show. But, there's a point where people go, look, I'm 75 years old. I just don't want to act anymore. You have to sometimes. I'll never forget. I always go to a Broadway play with the best acting teacher of all time. His name is Larry Moss. And he's like this legendary acting teacher that people talk about in awards. He works with Leonardo DiCaprio. Maybe I told you this before. He works with Leonardo DiCaprio all during COVID. He's the guy you want to get. He's the most hardest guy to get. And we go to see a play before COVID. We would go all the time. Me and my friend Vincent and him. We'd go see the biggest play, and that's who you want to go with, an acting, because he's going to be like, no, you need to see this. You need to see this. So we go with them, and then one time we go. We always have dinner after at this place called Joe Allen's. We always eat after. It's like an after theater place on 46th Street. We always eat after. But the last time we went, I guess about 2-3 years ago now, my friend goes, oh, Larry wants to eat early before the show. And I'm like, what are you talking about before the show? I hate eating before the show. Eating before the show sucks, because then you're eating a meal, and then I'm already ready to fall asleep at a show anyway, because the lights go down, because whether it's hot and you're running, then it's air conditioned, it's nice and cool, you relax, the lights go down, it's over. And if it's cold outside, it's nice and cozy in there, lights go down, it's over. So all I need is a big meal to have to, add on to the falling asleep during a show you pay $200 for tickets for. No, thank you. So I said, why does he all of a sudden he want to eat early? And he goes, I don't know. He wants to eat early. I'm like, but that doesn't make any sense. We always eat after, and we always talk about the show. That's the best thing there is. Eat after, talk about the show. You have dinner conversation. And he goes, Dave, what do you want me to tell you? He's 75 years old. I'm like, oh, he is? I didn't realize. I thought he was in like his 60s or something. And then it made a lot of sense, I guess. He wanted to eat early. I mean, me, ever since COVID, I grew up in the sense of being an old man, not to quote Sex and the City again, but I love eating early now. I guess they got my appetite for it when COVID was happening and everything closed early. So eating at 5 or 6 sounded okay to me. Although, I'll still eat late if something's delicious. Who care? A hot meal in the cold is worth 5-fold. Anything goes, says. That's right. You got that right. Well, oh my goodness. God, I had so much to talk about, and I didn't even get through anything, really. I mean, there's still plenty of time and plenty of stuff to talk about, but I will tell you this. What am I saying? This last thing. I was talking about a Broadway show. See, I need to go see a Broadway show. We were supposed to have Dave Bryan on, who just wrote that musical Diana about Princess Diana from Bon Jovi, but he's been busy with his Broadway show. So he goes, but he wants to come on, which would be great. But he's like, you got to go see it. And I know I got to go see it. I just haven't seen a Broadway show since COVID, and now it's getting worse. I don't know what's happening. Is everything going to close down again? I don't think it should. These masks are awful again. I mean, nobody wants to wear it, and you don't want to wear it at your office. That sucks. I can't even imagine working at a job I hate and having to wear a mask on top of it. That's awful. But that's another story we could talk about. We're going to bring in Fred Stoller, the legendary, truly, Fred Stoller in 3 minutes. So just stick with us for 3 minutes, and we will be back with our pal, Fred Stoller, right after these messages.
The Contender.
They got away from the game plan that they have had the last 4 weeks. Run the ball, control the clock. I believe Dallas in the first quarter might have had, 10, 11 minutes of time possession? I mean, we just couldn't get, going down the field. And when you have one or two runs, now I understand changing the game plan in the third quarter or at halftime. If you're not running the ball well, figure out something else to do. But they weren't putting him in good positions because, don't you think they would run here or there like a slant pattern or just a little button hook or something like that to get him going, get him some completions, move the ball down the field? I just don't think that Taylor Heineke, going back to your original question, was prepared to go out there and try to win this game by himself, throwing the ball around the field. And I just think that was a huge deal with Scott Turner and his play calling, because Greg Olsen said it perfectly on the broadcast that, Scott Turner, he knows what he's doing. I've been in his system before and stuff like that. It didn't look like that today.
No. I just don't understand what was the offensive game plan. Right. I don't understand, because clearly the run game you weren't trying to establish the run game, because Antonio Gibson had 10 carries. And then behind him, he had 10 carries, and then, of course, the key fumble. And then you have Jarrett Patterson with 4 carries later in the game. Jonathan Williams, 4 carries later in the game. But really, it was all Antonio Gibson, and he only had 10 carries all game. So I guess the plan wasn't to establish the run. And then on the passing game, look at the weapons this team has. They don't have any weapons down the field. Terry McLaurin is the lone downfield weapon, and look how that worked out today. 0 catches, and he went out of the game with a concussion.
The DC Crossover Podcast with Ben Simpson and Mike Cerrone, streaming on The Contender and available for download.
Love Rodney Adams. Love the story. That's the football. Not a fan of Cole Kmet. Think he's a bust. That's the football. This is what Dalton deals with, and Fields deals with it too. How the hell are you supposed to be a successful quarterback when nobody catches your balls? You got a defense trying their best to do something, and they can't do it. How about you turn the ball over and give it to the Cardinals at the 20-yard line? Kyler Murray barely passed the football. 11 of 15, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's a cold weather game. It's your home. Force him to suffer. Nope. Didn't have to do any work. Nothing. 11 of 15, 125 yards. What's that mean? All of his passes, 10-yard passes. Andy Dalton had the longest play of the game, 33 yards. You didn't even challenge Kyler Murray.
John Zaglul and Sports Talk Chicago. Download episodes right now at thecontender.com. Contender with a K.
It's the Comedy Cellar Football Show with Dave Juskow on The Contender.
Yes, it is the Comedy Cellar Football Show with Dave Juskow on the Contender app. But the Comedy Cellar, as you know, is open every night, and there's 4 different rooms, so you can see the best comics in New York City and, of course, the Comedy Cellar in Vegas. Just reading the chat rooms before we bring in Fred. Anonymous says Diana's closing on Sunday. Is that true? I didn't hear. Oh, no wonder he didn't get back to me. Yipes. I asked him to, I do a Billy Joel podcast, and I asked him to come on and talk about Billy Joel. And I said, can you do it Saturday? And he goes, I'll get back to you. Maybe that's why he didn't get back to me. Oh, that's awful. And I didn't get, now I feel like a dick. I'm like the worst friend, and he's been so kind. We went to high school together. Oh God, if that's true, I don't think you're lying. I'm just saying. And also anything goes. You're so kind to my Aunt Judy. I got it. He says, I got enough smoke to share if you want to blaze up and get weird together. That's funny. Because Aunt Judy loves getting high and she loves drinking. For some reason, she likes this peanut butter liqueur, which she always offers me, and I am not interested in. But Anonymous, you saw it? You saw Diana? He says, I loved it, but you feel stupid loving something that closes after 33 performances. We'll find out about that in a second. Wow. Okay, well, I'll get to the bottom of that in a second. Let's bring in our first guest this evening, and Anonymous will talk about that in a second. He is the author of one of the funniest books and titles ever called Maybe We'll Have You Back, The Life of a Perennial TV Guest Star. His other books entitled My Seinfeld Year and 5 Minutes to Kill can be found on Kindle. You've seen him on Seinfeld, Everybody Loves Raymond, Friends, and that's seriously only to name a minute few. He is the true journeyman of TV and movies and a living legend in the comedy community. Please welcome Fred Stoller, everybody.
Thank you.
Oh.
Chloe is joining.
Yes, Fred and his cat. I love it. You know, I'm a big cat
My
person.
thrill
so
seeker poster in the background. If I
have
cough,
my
she'll jump off, but
Christmas
I'll try
vacation.
not to cough.
Oh, don't
Can you
worry
hear
about
me?
it. Yeah, I can hear you.
I don't have professional mic like you demanded, but we'll see what we can do.
Now, you know damn well I did not demand a professional mic.
Well, if you saw that, if the big audience saw that email, they would. they'd
I see the email from StreamYard. Yes.
Oh my
Well,
God, the
Fred,
demand.
First of all, let me just thank you for coming on. I know you do not like to do podcasts anymore.
No, it's just I ran out of stories and not you, but they always lie and say, "What do you want to plug?" And it's like if I bumped into you on 23rd Street, what do you want to plug? You know, it's like, you know, I know there are thousands of people watching this, but they all scream at me. You could, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Fred,
But-
let me, first of all, I know exactly what you're talking about. And that is why I do the research for my guests. They don't have to tell me what to plug. I go online, I do the research, and I get the information so they don't have to do any work. And why other people are okay going on people's podcasts that don't do the information and don't do the research drives me insane.
That's a very good point. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, Fred, I mean, you were kind enough to send me your book. Maybe we'll have you back, which is one of the best reads I've ever had, let alone I had no idea you were on Singer and Sons.
Well, no one knows what Singer and Sons was.
Well, I didn't know what it was either, but you were working with the great Harold Gould.
Yes, yes. These names people don't know, but I knew him from Rotor and Woody Allen, Love and Death. And
Love and Death, he has my favorite line. He goes, they're challenging him to a duel, and he goes, he says, Woody Allen says, if I were a man, I'd slap you in the face. And he goes, I am a man. Or no, he said, if a man said that to me, I'd slap him in the face. He goes, I am a man. He goes, I meant so much shorter man. He's also in.
no, I mean, the big
he's in
thrill,
Silent Movie. Mel Brooks, too. He worked with Woody Allen and Mel Brooks and Fred Stoller.
Well, yeah, I mean, I my impressionable seminal years was 70s. And the biggest thrills I got was being friends with both George Segal and Jack Riley and working with Jack Riley, you know, from the Bob Newhart show, and Harold Gould was on
Mr.
those
Carlin.
70s sitcoms. And
Mr.
then
Carlin, and
Yes.
he was in History of the World Part 1 and Seinfeld.
Oh, sorry,
To
my
name a
cat. I
few.
knew it when I coughed. Yeah, when I was on Raymond, working with Peter Boyle, because I knew, did you ever hear of a movie called Joe?
No.
It was a great Peter Boyle movie, but just, you know, a taxi driver and Charles Durning asking about Dog Day Afternoon. So those are my heroes, those 70s kind of comedy actors, sitcom people. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I appreciate, I'm like you. If I'm working with somebody like that, I'm going to be really excited about it, especially anybody that's...
I did an episode of Suddenly Susan, and it was directed by this character actor. I forgot his name, but he was excited that I was excited that I recognized him as the paramedic in Dog Day Afternoon. That was like my favorite movie afternoon.
You don't remember the guy's name, huh?
Is it Philip Charles Mackenzie? He was on.
Okay, Philip. No, don't tell me. I know Philip Charles Mackenzie is an Alice. Yes, isn't that him? Isn't that the son?
Oh, that was the kid died. That kid. No, that was Philip McKean died. I think Philip Charles Mackenzie was a little. If that's his name.
No, it is his name. He directs a bunch of stuff. I took a shot at maybe knowing who he was.
If it is, I think they're a little ahead of his time. Maybe it's not Philip Charles Mackenzie. But let me see if I could look it up.
No, I believe it is. I've seen that name 100 times as a director.
But this may be another guy. He was in a short-lived show on Showtime that was a little ahead of its time because it was about three gay brothers. One of them was gay, and they didn't have stuff like that. back in like '89. I think it was called Brothers, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
But yeah, I like. I mean, I recognized she died. The Pacino's mother, who played his wife in Dog Day Afternoon at Greenblatt. So I love those character actors.
Of course. Well, you are a character actor, so people feel the same way about seeing you as they do about
Yes
the
and
way
no, because one thing that saddens me a little, well, I'm not getting as much work, is all those cameos they used to have now go to people like, celebrities like Vince Vaughn and Paul Rudd. They'll do cameos in each other's movies. Ben Stiller and Will Ferrell. I used to love cameos because they weren't the stars. Like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
My
now
dad
it's like that too.
Now cameos are, stars. Like The Rock will do a cameo as blah 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 in a movie.
That's a good point. I never thought about it that way. Let me just tell you one thing, that your
Sure.
book is if you get the copy with the red cover, it's worth a lot of money on eBay. There's like a bidding war.
Charging.
Well, remember what happened last time you were on the show and I saw your book going for
think it's a bidding war. Someone made up some insane price.
No, it's not. It's not just on there. It's on Amazon as well. And I'm telling you, I know, because I've been trying to sell this Return of the Jedi that's sealed, which for some reason is worth about $3,000, but I priced it too high for starters. And it's like one of those things. That's why I'm aware of it. The one with the red cover is a very rare edition.
Well,
maybe we'll have you back.
Like you said, the chat room is lighting up now with people wanting to get it. Yes. Did you find that, or do you have like a producer?
I have a producer, Mike.
That guy on the left must be Philip Charles McKenzie. This was some. Okay, here's interesting trivia. This guy on the right, I believe, is Fiona Apple's father. If you could look that up.
Really? The guy in the middle was on Lou Grant.
And I worked with him on a short-lived show, Fran Drescher, Happily Divorced. Robert Walden. Yes, he was on Lou Grant.
And he was in All the President's Men as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that guy on the far left played a gay guy on, yes, and then he became a sitcom director. Philip, yes, he did a good job. This show is called Brothers, and like I said,
you do remember now.
A little bit of
thank you, Mike.
A little bit of ahead of its time. They didn't have like gay characters. This is probably '89 or something.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I just also noticed from the book that you had I didn't know you were I know you worked with him and you were friends with Harry Anderson from Night. I know they're doing a revival of Night Court. That's why I brought it.
I don't know. Well, I didn't. I actually didn't have a very flattering anecdote about him, but I did a place in Bernardsville, Jersey.
New Jersey. Oh, I know that place.
Called Freddy's with him before he made it big.
Yeah.
No, he was a very nice guy, but we had a weird encounter when I auditioned for Dave's World. But yes, Harry Anderson. Sad. A bunch of them died from Night Court. Marky Post and
died very, very young. Yeah, both. Yeah, died. That show was cursed.
Yes, someone else died from it. Oh, the black guy, Mac something. He played Mac on it, I believe.
Wait, Mike says Brandon Maggart is her dad. I guess that's the guy's name. It is her dad. It is Fiona Apple's dad. You were correct.
Yes. That's very, very random and very trivia, but I remember that little anecdote. Yes.
Well, I promised I wouldn't make you tell any stories, so I probably
No, we could tell these stories. I thought everyone wanted to hear like fighting with Larry David stories that I told.
No,
but
I
you're
would never.
Good. You're good because
we've already done that. You were on my podcast, and we got that out of the way, and I loved every
minute. You know your stuff about character actors. I thought you'd ask, the same. I've been on podcast the second time they asked the same questions about Larry David, and writing the Scoop episode. I thought it was all that, but you were good. I didn't give you. But when I was listening to you talking about Billy Joel, I realized, are you from Long Island? Because you have.
No, I'm from New Jersey.
You have like a Long Island essence about you.
I take that as an insult. I have a Jersey essence, and everyone knows it.
Where in Jersey?
I'm from Edison, New Jersey.
Okay, because before I'm like a generation before you would stand up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if your generation did this, but you would meet at the Improv, and they'd have all these Jersey gigs, and the comedian with the car had to drive the other two.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he wasn't always that strong an act, but I remember the first gig was Paramus, the Jade Fountain. There was Bernardsville. There was
I was the person who had to drive the car.
Rascals.
Right. Rascals just was the last one standing, and now they're closed.
Oh my God! Well, here's a stupid question: did the Comedy Cellar fold or not?
The Comedy Cellar.
I mean, in a comic strip.
Oh no, it's weird. It should have, and I wish it would, but no, it's still somehow teetering after that guy died. Richie, I thought it was going to close. Everybody said it was going to close. I think they're out of money, but they're still staying open. I just want to tell you that in the chat room, people are really, you're beloved there. And my friend Barry says always
Marsha Warfield play.
That's the private chat.
Yeah,
he says Marsha Warfield plays the Cellar Vegas regularly. I'm talking. My friend Barry says always wanted you to be a recurring character on Seinfeld. See,
I wanted that too, but a lot of things didn't happen. That would have been great. Marsha Warfield, I did an episode of. She was briefly on Empty Nest.
Oh, right. Oh, you did Empty Nest too?
I did that. That guy was a real great comedic talent who died.
Richard Mulligan?
Yes, it was an honor to work with him.
He seemed really cool. I loved him from the movie S.O.B.
Yes.
With Blake Edwards, one of my favorite films that is
and
way
I love
underrated.
The show Soap.
Oh, God, right. He was in Soap too. That's right.
Yes.
Confused? You won't be on the next episode of Soap. Think about that, Fred, that Billy Crystal played a gay guy in 1978.
Actually, I guess I contradict myself that wasn't the first one. Yeah, he might have been the first one. Yeah. Well, actually, before Fred Willard died, I was honored that I would go to all his Christmas parties, all holiday parties, and Jay Johnston was a regular, and he was the ventriloquist.
Right, Chuck and Bob, right?
Yeah. Oh, you know your 70s stuff.
I know everything.
I thought you were too young to know this stuff.
No, I'm not. I think we're only a few years apart. Also, anything goes in the chat room says Fred has done it all and seen it all, read about it in his book, but don't outbid me. He says on the book.
No, our friend Rena, who I don't talk to anymore, but we don't have to go into that. No. She, like me, we were fans of Mary Hartman. So I used to love when I met Mary Kay Place, Ed Begley Jr. There were a lot of great character actors on that show.
Sure, and that's why it's so cool that you were friends with Fred Willard too. He's kind of all of our heroes. If we like this show or my podcast, I mean, Fred Willard was the shit.
I forgot you're a good guy. I thought this was like an aggressive Nick DiPaolo podcast.
Why would you think that? Where did I come off like
we're
that?
We're going to talk about the Pats and all that.
We can. Do you mind making a couple of picks? Because, like I said, my mother won the pool, so we like when people don't know anything about football. It's just 5.
Let me think. The only football players I can.
Here, look, I'm sharing my screen.
I can't.
You can guess, but it's fascinating. Mark Cohen got 2 right last week, but our last Marina Franklin got all of them right, and they know nothing about football. So we like when we like when our guests don't know anything about football because they always seem to win. So if you could just quickly pick between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chargers on Thursday, who
Kansas
do you think?
City, because I know the name Len Dawson.
Beautiful. He won Super Bowl. He was in Super Bowl 1 and 4, and he won Super Bowl.
My God,
4.
I am so old. I remember what was the name of the Super Bowl? What was that, number 2?
What?
Joe Namath.
Oh, Joe Namath was 3.
Wow, I go back to 3.
Me too, technically,
and what did those two say? Is that the Pats, as they say?
Pats.
I always root against them because I can't stand Nick DiPaolo.
Right.
He's racist.
Look at the Colts for you. He is.
I can't stand Nick DiPaolo. Actually, to be honest, I met him twice. First time he was a very nice guy. Second time he was an asshole to me.
Well, he changed. Something happened, I think. But
was an asshole.
Well, that's why we're rooting against them on Saturday.
Well,
On
he's
Sunday,
also a racist. When you see that other guy, what's his name? Kevin Brennan. He
Yeah.
pretends to be a racist, but he doesn't. I know he's doing shtick where he yells and rants, but he doesn't exude the anger and miserableness of Nick DiPaolo.
I'm
Nick
with you
DiPaolo
on that,
doesn't have
Fred.
to do shtick to be racist and miserable and angry.
I will always love Kevin Brennan because Kevin
He's-
Brennan has been the exact same way as the day I met him.
It looks
So-
like he's trying to be Pat Cooper, like he's trying, and he seems like he's just trying too hard, which makes him vulnerable. Okay, and who are the next?
This is the Cowboys and the Giants.
The
And
Giants.
The Cowboys are favored by a lot.
The Cowboys.
Yeah. So who do you like? You said you like the Giants.
Yeah.
Okay, that's plus. That's good. Plus points. The Green Bay Packers and the Baltimore Ravens.
Green Bay against the Ravens. Green Bay. And the Ravens are from. I'll go for Baltimore because that's a less racist city. I was root for the less racist city.
And then Tom Brady and the Buccaneers against the New Orleans Saints.
Well, let me ask you something. Now, Tom Brady, we thought he was a racist Trump guy, but didn't he make a joke about him at the Biden thing?
I'm pretty sure he did. I don't, he might be a Trump guy, but I don't know whether he might
made
just.
a joke like saying Biden's not legitimate, but he really was mocking them. I'm going to go against Tom Brady.
All right. And there's good. Now we'll see what happens next week, which will be very exciting. And I'm going to stop the share, but I have some slides I'd like to share with you. Some
Well,
new
you are.
stuff.
I'm sorry. I thought this was like an aggressive kind of comedy.
I don't know why you thought that, Fred. We were on. I did the podcast with you.
Used to hang out with Artie Lang and go, "You're a pussy. Be a man's man." And I thought you had that kind of comedy Cellar sentiment, but I was wrong.
Fred, we talk on the phone sometimes. We always have nice conversations. When have I
don't
ever
know
come
who I
on?
confused you with.
Yeah, I don't know either. I
David Tell, he's like the man's man, like that kind of thing. Like, I don't know what I'm saying. That's right. We had a long phone conversation. Why did I think you're like an aggressive, I like tough crowd guy?
I don't know. Mike, I'm sharing the screen again. We're just going to look at some photos, have some fun, see what's going on in the world. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was going to be like a long, that's why I was freaking out. Long 40-minute talk about Larry.
No, we've done in 10 minutes.
No, you could take your time. I like this.
Well, no, we have to leave.
I thought I had to tell all Larry David stories.
I told you that wouldn't be like that. Why would I ask you to do something like that?
Okay.
I think it's funny that I could see where you would be furious about that too.
I thought it was 45 minutes of tell me about how you got your Seinfeld job. Tell me about this.
No, but Fred, seriously, how did you get that sign? No, I'm just kidding. Well, again, we covered that on my podcast. I would say to anybody that does want to know that, please.
This is why I got freaked out. It's called the Comedy Cellar Podcast, and they're all maybe things have changed. I thought they used to be all those tough crowd, Jim Norton, with a fucking table. Yeah, those. I didn't like that vibe.
I know what you're talking about, but no, I'm not.
You're not like that.
I try not to be.
Okay.
This is the Angela Merkel, who's turning over her German chancellor chair to a new successor, which just brings to mind the January 31st, 1933 change of power to Hitler. When I see anything with Germany. Hitler made chancellor of Germany. I hope it doesn't end like that. That's all I'm saying.
You remind me of that guy. What's his name? Big J. Okerson a little bit.
I do?
Yeah.
Well, that's high praise.
Okay.
This is a guy, he's a Ukrainian soldier, and he's you know how Russia's trying to invade Ukraine?
Me hiding from Nick DiPaolo.
I was going to say, it's like what the Ukraine is doomed. They're using a handmade periscope from like a cereal box to look out the window. They're in big trouble. I don't know why they're in.
This is why I hate myself. I'm complaining about doing a podcast, and there's people in tornadoes dying. And
exactly, right?
I'm an asshole. Okay.
This isn't that bad. We got a lot of stuff. This is just a Christmas theme. This is in Dublin, where they grow these poinsettias for Christmas. I thought it was nice. And
Does you write your material, these sketches? Is he your segment producer?
No, I get the pictures myself, and I find what'll hopefully be interesting. So these are a couple of kids that look annoying, and they're getting a Christmas tree from a Christmas tree farm in Edmond, Oklahoma. And I say to myself, living in New York City and you living in LA, I'm like, geez, this looks like a great place to grow up. And then I went to their website of Edmond, Oklahoma, and I said, no, you know what? I've made a horrible mistake.
Yeah.
That's on their Wikipedia page. Lonely and sad. So this is probably the greatest thing that's ever happened to these boys. Here's Jussie Smollett coming out.
Guy,
what a dick, right?
Well, the guy, I give him credit that he's he can't get out of this lie that, I guess if he would have pleaded, he would admit it was a lie. So he spent all the money on lawyers, and now he's going to appeal it. But what's his defense? I mean,
he has no defense. He's an idiot.
I know.
I like this because this guy is guilty, and technically, what did he do except for himself? But he wasted a lot of time and all that kind of stuff, right? So, but he's going to jail. Meanwhile, with the same walk, this guy got off scot-free. Bill Cosby with his team, look how happy they are walking out of prison or whatever. It's unbelievable that this guy is probably going to do jail time, but this guy's not.
I probably get a big fine and community, and I don't think they're going to put him in prison. But I
like this walk because this. I don't know if you've seen this.
I haven't seen any of these.
This kid is named Kuta Kumagi, and he lost the All Japan Elementary School Sumo Championship last Sunday. That is an elementary school kid.
Yeah. Oh, I could see that in the face, but yeah.
Isn't that fucked up? He's 11.
That's my son.
That, you know what? We just came up with the sitcom we need to do, Fred, you and me, and we have a son, and that's him.
I think I'd
and we're just, and I like, let's just, we're divorced dads, and both of our sons are sumo wrestlers. We're like, and you're like, don't want to get them hurt, but I'm the guy like, no, they got to learn. We got to get really into sumo wrestling. I'm telling you, it writes itself. Meanwhile, I was thinking that he reminded me of Chubby from the Little Rascals.
Oh my God.
We've been growing up with these little kids. They make fight all the time. Meanwhile, I also saw this picture, which is the exact same Bill Cosby photo of Chubby and the Little Rascals.
All right, you're good. You're good. That's good.
That's exactly what that said to me. That's the Jussie Smollett and Cosby walk. And here is Chubby with Jackie Cooper, who, as we all know, also got angry at Superman. And he's just angry all the time for the past 80 years.
Oh, my God.
He's always angry at somebody. Isn't that the best?
Podcast, I wouldn't complain about podcasts if it was just sitting and watching things.
Isn't this fun?
It is. I know you like, failed pilots.
I do.
But I put one on YouTube that's so lame, you may love it, where everyone had this generic idea. It's like Cheers, it's a comedy club. And it was so lame. I was in it. The late Warren Thomas was in it. The late Richard Jeni.
I didn't care for Richard Jeni.
You didn't? Some people thought he was a hack, and some people thought he was a genius.
Yeah,
he wasn't a hack. He just could kill. He just was strong.
Yes, he was strong. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I'd seen him kill. I just don't care for him. But what was the name of the show so we can look it up?
It was called Laughs. I posted it on YouTube, and it
good,
had.
Because I love that shit. I love watching pilots on
it's
YouTube.
It's so lame. It had this guy Todd Sussman. I don't think people know him, but you would know his face from the 70s. And this black woman from the Jeffersons who died, very nice lady. I forgot her name. Was it Renee Dubois, maybe?
You're not talking about Maya Rudolph's mom, is it?
No, Maya Rudolph's mom is Phoebe Snow, I think.
No, it's not. I think it's the first woman from the Jefferson.
No. Now you're being racist.
No, I'm not. But
no.
Maya Rudolph's mom is the one who sings "Loving You."
Yeah,
right.
That's
she's not on the
Phoebe
Jeffersons.
Snow. Lenny Kravitz's mother was the one from the Jeffersons.
Right. Sorry, you're right. I was being racist at that, but Maya Rudolph's mom is not Phoebe Snow. I know that.
Minnie Rippleton.
Minnie Rippleton. That's exactly correct. Wow, that is a great
You
call.
know, I could do trivia, but not whenever I do these trivia things before the pandemic. Name these Beyonce songs in order. I can't name one Beyonce or one what's Mariah Carey, like the 2000s.
Oh yeah, I have trouble with that too.
I'm bad. I'm good with the 70s and 80s and a little bit of the 90s.
I can name. Oh yeah, anything goes. Just said I was doing my inner Nick DiPaolo on that racist statement. I said any black person is obviously Maya Rudolph's mother.
But yeah, I'm not.
I can name every Academy Award winner for Best Picture in the 70s, and then nothing else. Like I mean, I still know some dates, but I can't do it in its entirety. So
yep, 70s and 80s.
This lady drove into the Niagara Falls. As you can see, she drove in. Here's Niagara Falls right here.
I think I remember that.
It's just happened this week.
It's funny because when my mother died in July. That's the funny part.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. And when I would visit her in Florida, she'd always get scared when I would take the car out because she would see on the news that seniors drive into the ravines or rivers. I guess they make a wrong turn, and she thinks it's a common thing. You just take the turn.
Well, apparently this person did it on purpose, possibly. That's what they were thinking. And then the problem is, you have like a Jesse Smollett situation where this guy's got to come in, risk his life and save her. And then he does, which is a miracle, but then she died anyway.
Oh my God.
The chat room is saying their condolences on your mom, Fred.
That's so nice.
But of course, when I see this, I only think of Superman 2. And this idiot who was playing on the railing like a moron, I don't know who his parents are. Superman, of course, has to go save him. And here's Lois falling over because she thought it was Superman, which it turns out it is. Spoiler alert.
Wow. So many comedians from my era or before did jokes about Clark Kent taking his glasses off.
Oh, my God. Fred, in Pips, which I know you're from that area.
Oh, sure.
So when I first went to Pips, I met this guy. Maybe you know him. His name was Joey D.
Sounds familiar. I remember. Do you remember there was a weird comedy team of a big bulky guy, Andrew something, and he was kind of annoying. They sang and oh man, I forgot.
I don't remember that. I was there in '83. I think you were there 2 years before me. So I was there in '83, and this guy Joey D, he had his act on a book of matches, and I mean he would kill because he had the accent. Nobody cared, and he was doing for what the Perry White. This guy's the worst news person in history. He doesn't recognize this guy's wearing a pair of fucking glasses. I'd love to go over that guy's house on Halloween. Oh, it's wearing a pair of glasses. Great, season's ghost. What's happening? And it would kill. You know that Brooklyn crowd. They would go crazy. There was this guy, Vinny Laprento. I remember this as a kid, my first time going. I remember all these names because they made me MC the second night I was there, and I had their listing for a long time. This guy goes, folks, don't raw eggs smell like farts? And people were like, I've never heard such comedy. And I know you know because you know the place.
That was a premise, yeah, about the glasses, and everyone did that one, yeah.
This is a model on a runway at the Dior Men's Fashion Collection in London on Thursday. Wait till you see what the new men's fashion collection is close up. What? How is that? What am I missing here? Women don't dress like that. Look at these. This is what Dior is putting on. This is what they want men to wear. Meanwhile,
I'm on it.
Fred, it's like a joke. This is right out of Clueless, the movie, my favorite movie by Amy Heckerling.
Oh, I don't want to drop names, but Amy Heckerling's daughter,
Molly Heckerling.
Oh, you know Molly?
Yeah, she was on the show about a month ago.
Okay, yeah, she said, "Do you remember me? I used to hang out at Amy's place, and she would show South Park like 20 years ago." And I was biting my tongue, but I guess she lives on the Upper West Side, and someone said our friend another Amy is the crazy woman of the Upper West Side.
I know who you're talking about.
Yes.
Too.
Yes.
But yeah, Molly was very excited you were going to be on the show. She said she loves you. She texted me and said, I'm very excited when she found out. But the best thing about Amy, who I think is one of the greatest directors of our time and best this film is so well written, is in 1994 or 5 when this was made, Alicia Silverstone clearly says, I don't want to be a traitor to my generation, but are we really supposed to swoon over guys that just get out of bed and put on pajamas? And that's what Dior is trying to make us. I mean, it's like just a joke right out of the fucking movie.
Oh, I'm gonna message her about this joke that she would have liked. That you know why teen girls only hang out in odd numbers?
No.
They can't even.
You wrote that one?
No, I didn't write it.
Hey, Fred, my friend Lou Pellegrino, who has been on this show 2 weeks ago, he was making the picks. He's a sports guy. I didn't know you were in Dumb and Dumber. And then he made me watch this scene today. And now I can't even believe how iconic this apparent scene from Dumb and Dumber is, that you have your own doll.
No. Someone made
joke?
that.
Well,
someone made that. That's Jackie Monahan. Do you know who she is?
I do know her.
That's her.
Whatever. Somebody made it, but it exists and it's cool.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating. Look how iconic you are.
Well, no, someone designed that shirt. I was tried selling it on TeePublic. So
here's my favorite that Fred put on Instagram. I finally made that call.
Well, yeah.
I love it. I didn't understand the reference until I saw the scene. I had no idea.
I feel bad I confused you with Richard Voss, that aggressive kind of,
Look, I didn't know you were so close with Norm either.
I toured with him for 11 months. I was with him backstage when he did the Tonight Show and Jimmy Fallon tussled Trump's hair. And I remember Norm was going, it's so great, that he, he looks like a, what's it called? It looks like Trump's a good guy, a regular guy, because.
Right.
But that was his short, it was underrated, his sitcom called Norm.
Right. Artie was in that too, I believe, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, Artie. Yes, I had so much fun hanging out with Artie on Norm's show and in real life.
Yeah, Artie's the best.
Yes.
And here you are with our friend Sarah Silverman.
Sarah, who gets angry about podcast also.
Yes, she does. But she also does mine because that's the
and she calms down once she's on it.
Correct protocol when you're friends with somebody.
Tell her that I'm like her. I freak out, like the obligation to do them.
Anything Goes says that you told a great story about Kathy Griffin on Norm's podcast.
Mm-hmm. We had a one-night stand, yes. It was in the book.
Yes, that's right. And Anything Goes wanted to know if that Fred doll was real because he's going to buy it immediately.
No. Someone made it and very nicely sent it to me, and the package kind of broke, but that'd be cool if it was.
Fred, that's it. Thank you so much for coming on.
I thought it was going to be 45 minutes of having.
No, that's it. I told you it was quick.
That was your other podcast.
Yeah. No, that's it, buddy. Thank you so much for doing it.
I never think you're an aggressive, racist comedy seller, Richard Voss guy again.
That's all right. I get that rap sometimes. It's
what
quite
about
all right.
What about that guy? What's his name? Who did special ed on?
Florentine.
Yeah, they have that. There's that vibe those New York guys have.
But he's a really nice guy.
He's a good guy.
Very nice guy.
Oh, that's good. I want to tell you. I met Bill Burr like 3 or 4 times. Sweetest guy. I thought he was going to be an angry guy. He's such a good guy.
It's great when it's a character,
Yes.
But listen, we have to go because we do have a certain time out. So got to go. But Fred, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time.
How to do Firefox. You're a great guy. You're not an aggressive comedy seller guy.
Thank you. Tell your friends. Fred Stoller, everybody.
Thank you.
He is terrific. He is a terrific person, obviously, and so much fun. And the funny thing is, as much as he hates it, you could talk to him for hours, because a guy like me who worships sitcoms that have never aired or whatever, or ones that have, we can talk about people that he's worked with for just years to come. So he's always a good guest, but I understand when he's like just in a period where he doesn't want to just discuss it. Anyway, we'll be back in 5 minutes where we'll bring in Nick Griffin and make this week's picks. Very exciting. So come back to the Comedy Cellar Football Show and The Contender in 5.
The Contender.
From a rather reliable source, the team name will be announced on January 2nd. I heard that from an insider, and we'll see what happens. So, January 2nd, you should be expecting a name, proper name, team name to be announced by the franchise, at least according to what I heard last week, since last I was here on this airway. Now, of course, nobody's going to confirm nor deny at the time, so I went through some other channels, but I'm going to rely on, what we heard, see what's up, continue to break it down and make it do what it do. But by January 2nd, this could be a playoff team.
Mark Gray on The Contender.
When you saw Tevin get in that position and execute well, I was excited to see that. I kind of came. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Like this is sad to me, right? This is the first Bears-Packers game probably ever. I tried to get excited. Jakeem Grant ran in the touchdown. I was like, let's go.
Because you knew what was going to happen.
I tried. I can't fake it. I can't muster up the fake excitement to try and make it invest in this game. You know what I'm saying? I can't muster it up. At this point, I'm playing scout. I feel like I'm watching a team that I'm not really affiliated with, because that's how much they've scorned me in here.
I will say this just to burn the chat a little bit up, just to rile some people up.
Here we go.
Same thing I sent to you earlier. As it stands right now, Fields is 6-10. That's not record wise. 6 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
6 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and how many? Here's the thing: how many fumbles? Are we talking about 9 fumbles now in the season?
All I've got to say is, Mitch was 7-7 his first year. 24-12 his second one. That's all I gotta say. This
is the only show that's talking Chicago sports. How Chicago talk.
The Windy City Breeze.
Fox Sports broadcaster, senior baseball writer at Sports Illustrated, and an MLB Network insider. Please welcome Tom Berducci. How do you think this whole thing gets resolved?
Well, to me, the harder deadline, the one that actually puts some pressure here, the talks and forcing a compromise, is losing anything on the field. And I would say spring training as well. I mean, obviously, you don't want to lose any regular season games, but if you back it up, spring training has to be minimum of 3 weeks. And so that pushes things to the end of February, early March, where I think that's when you're talking about really having a lot of pressure to get a deal done. So I couldn't tell you where exactly the negotiation will wind up going in terms of where that compromise is. For instance, free agency, players want to knock that down from 6 to 5 for certain players. 6 years service time has been there since 1976. That seems like a no-fly zone for the owners. They don't seem to be engaged in that at all. So it's hard to see right now where the final landing point is, that there's room for compromise. But I just have to believe that there's so much at stake if there is any kind of a stoppage that takes the game off the field when it's supposed to be on the field. This is very different from the world we lived in 1990 and 95. There's so many more options for fans now. And obviously we're coming off this, and still are, in the pandemic, where we had the shortened season in 2020. So To me, the risk of shutting the game down even for a shorter period of time is far greater than it was in 1990 and 1995.
A new interview every week.
Here on Sports Talk Chicago.
Be so serious. Not here, it doesn't. It's time for picks.
Washington will control the ball.
Laughs. And an overall good time right in the middle of New York City. It's the Comedy Cellar Football Show with Dave Juskow on The Contender.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Comedy Cellar Football Show and the Contender app, the Contender with the K. Fred Stoller is so cool. He's so interesting. He has so many stories. And again, this book is really good. Maybe we'll have you back. I mean, it's, you know, if you are like me and him and you love the character actor stuff, it's all in there. I really think my dad would like that book because, you know, they mention all the people we like. I mean, he likes the character actors from the movies, the pictures back in the day. But for me, I like the, you know, the ones from the 70s from the TV shows. Like Fred was saying, yeah, maybe we'll have him back, Anonymous. That's funny. It sucks, like he's saying, it's like that's a perfect guy for a cameo role that he's saying all the celebrities are getting it now, which don't they have enough? It's completely unacceptable. Well, let's talk a little football because it's fun. Okay, so the first hour is super fun, and then the second hour is a different kind of fun. If you like gambling, which I do, and football, which is awesome. So let's take a look first what our friend Mark Cohen, the MC at the Vegas Club, did. Thank you very nice, Mark. Thank you very much, Mike. Mark didn't do well. You know, a lot of times the celebrity guests do, and that sounds bad because Nick is a celebrity as well. But that's what I call it, the Celebrity Five. He only got 2 right. He got the Dallas one right, and he got the LA one last night by the skin of his teeth. So he didn't do too well. Now let's look at what happened to us last week with Tom Cotter. I kicked ass because I told you I am a sucker. I went 10-4. I'm back. I'm still not in the hundreds in the loss column. Tom did great. Mike did great too. And the audience didn't do very well. But it's not anybody's fault. You know, we take and pick from, you know, whoever we decide to take from that year or that week. So I will tell you that the Vikings was like my key pick. I loved the Vikings over Pittsburgh. I saw no problem with the 3, and it was 29-0, and I cannot believe that Pittsburgh almost came back and ruined that for me. I was very excited. Washington was, I don't know why I picked that. I'm mad at myself for picking it. On Sunday, I had heard that this guy was like, I'm all in on the Cowboys, and I wish I could have changed it, but I picked it on Tuesday. I didn't know what was going on, whatever. Tennessee was a no-brainer. I don't know why I didn't pick Seattle, but I didn't think they were deserved to be favored by 7.5 points, but they beat the crap out of Houston. Let's remember that for this week. Kansas City seemed also like a no-brainer, which it was. Obviously, I picked the Saints, saying, well, I'll be okay with losing that one if the Jets win, but we all knew that was going to happen, so that was easy. And I can't believe you guys picked the Jets. I don't know what the matter with you is. Again, the Falcons seemed easy because the Panthers stink. Let's remember that for this week. The Ravens, I got lucky. They lost by 2. So I just made it. And I didn't know Lamar Jackson was going to be, well, he got hurt. He was playing. And then I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Because I actually had, you know, some money on that one. The Chargers, to me, again, was a no-brainer, even with the long spread that Tom Glennon, whatever his name is, stinks. The Lions, I didn't think they'd get blown out. They've been in every game. I know anything goes. He says they'll turn it around this week. I don't know. When you get blown out by Denver, what are they doing? They got blown out by Kansas City. It's hard to pick. San Francisco, that was a tough one. And remember, they just won at the end, so I got lucky on that one. Tampa Bay, we also got lucky at because they covered the spread. That would have been a push maybe. And Green Bay, we got lucky at that. They covered 12.5 because they were losing by 10 or more during that whole game. And I cannot believe I lost that Cardinals game. That was my other best bet of the week. I was like, Monday night, I'm all in the Cardinals. The Rams, all they did was beat Jacksonville. I don't understand. Sometimes it's so hard to say, but at least I'm in the lead, and that's the most important thing, don't you think? All right. So without any further ado, let me bring in my Tuesday lunch buddy and my very good friend. He was just on my show with me and Mike about 2 weeks ago at a different comedy club. He has appeared on The Late Show with David Letterman. He has appeared on WTF with Mark Maron, which is a very big deal. The Conan O'Brien Show as well. His podcast is called Scary Monsters. It's available on iTunes. On January 5 through the 8th, he'll be appearing at the Looney Bin. I love saying those kind of names in Oklahoma City. And on January 10th through the 15th, he may be our first guest, besides Mark Cohen, who lives there, who is appearing finally at the Comedy Cellar in Las Vegas. Please welcome Nick Griffin, everybody.
Yay!
Hello, my friend.
A 10-4 last week. That's amazing.
Yeah, I kicked ass, but like I said, everybody who was doing bad in the previous weeks did really good last week. It was a very strange week. You didn't hear me at the beginning, but the favorites went 11-1 this week in NFL. That never happens.
Wow.
The bookies got crushed. They're pissed.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means for this week.
Yeah, I don't pick many games. This is pretty much it for me. I don't gamble at all.
What? I don't even know why we're friends.
I know.
It's kind of weird. I'm glad you're playing the Vegas room. A lot of the New Yorkers, I guess since COVID, haven't been going to the Vegas room. It seems like a lot of LA comics are there.
Tons of LA comics, and they bring them back pretty quickly. So I'm excited to finally be out there. And I love playing that Vegas room. I love hanging out with the great Mark Coco Cohen.
He was on last week. I know. I love him. And I would like to play that room. I should just ask them if I could go there, because I wish I was going with you. That would be terrific.
Speaking of character actors, Mark was in a fun episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm where
last season, he was online at the buffet.
They cut in line at the buffet, yeah.
Yeah, let alone that he was the mattress king on Friends. That's like the biggest thing for any millennial, Yeah, I mean, that's like really exciting. But yeah, Mark Cohen is, Nick and I have known him for a very, very long. I mean, Nick, I don't think you were living here when he was here, when Mark was here.
Yeah, I lived there. Yeah, he used to be the host at the Cellar. I used to do the 12:45 spot when I first got there. And
so, did you hang out at his house during the day?
No, never hung out with anyone, and no, never.
Yeah,
is that where people would play the guitar and hang out? And I heard about it, but I never got to go.
Yeah, just get high and hang out after the shows. It was like a super fun place to be. I actually bought the editor of, at the time, Elle magazine with me, and he goes, "I'm doing an article about comedy." I'm like, "I'll tell you where you got to be, Tuesday night after the show." And everybody was in. It was great.
Did he include it in the article?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's from a long time ago. Well, I guess probably the early 90s, maybe like 92 or 93, 94 maybe.
Right.
I don't know. But those were good times. Mark was the best. And I credit Mark for making the Comedy Cellar of what it is today,
Now, is the Christmas Vacation poster behind you, is that always there, or is that just for the holiday season?
It is seasonal. It's going to be, I usually change the posters every week, but it's going to be there for this week and next.
Gotcha.
I ran out of money to get new posters, so this is the first time I have to double up.
Speaking of back when Mark Cohen was in New York City, I used to go to HB Studios, and you know who was my
Herbert Berghoff Studios.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I know all of those studios. So, okay, I know all the things. So I'm not sure who you're going to say.
Well, you have to look at Christmas Vacation.
Okay, wait. I really want to guess this. It's not okay. So I know Charles Nelson Riley used to work there.
Oh, did he? I didn't know that.
Yes, he used to be a teacher there. I took a course with this horrible, the one who won an Oscar years ago for, I think, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, maybe.
Oh yeah, Sandy Dennis.
Sandy Dennis. I hated her. I hated Herbert Berghoff. I auditioned for Stella Adler, right? No. Uta Hagen. I'm too young for Stella Adler. I auditioned for Uta Hagen. Uta Hagen was very nice. Herbert Berghoff was an idiot. He was he was like 80 at the time. He was all in on this 15-year-old girl saying she was a genius. I'm like, you're an idiot.
This guy was an Oscar nominee.
All right, wait, don't tell me. Is it Austin Pendleton?
No. I love
Right.
Austin Pendleton, though.
Me too. He was a teacher there as well. So I think I've named all the teachers I know. He was a teacher at HP Studios, you're saying, right?
Yes, he was.
Okay, this is a very small place in the West Village that a lot of actors go to because it was only $60 for a class. The teachers didn't really get paid. They just did it out of the joy of teaching. Now I'm dying to know. It couldn't have been Randy Quaid, right? I mean,
No, it
wasn't.
wasn't
Okay,
Randy
all right.
Quaid.
No, I'm just thinking. Can I get another hint?
He was. He's been in movies with. Well, he was in a movie with Jack Nicholson, and he was friends with James Dean.
Oh my goodness! So he's old.
That's what I was trying to convey. Yeah.
William Hickey.
Bingo!
Boom! I knew I could get it. I knew I could get it. He was in Prizzi's Honor, and Pacino loved him too. And yes, wow. Hated that guy too. He was creepy as shit.
Was he?
For me, he was. I don't know. Was he a good teacher?
You took him? No, I don't know.
I didn't
don't
take
know
his
what a good
class.
Teachers. I don't know what a good teacher is. I mean, he was fine.
The way I picture a good teacher, when we were going there, we were very young, so it was weird.
Yeah, well, I was 23.
Exactly, me too. Probably around, about 23, and it was very intimidating being with women actresses, right? Because we wanted to be comics, but acting was a good move too. So I'm assuming you were the same way. It's like these women were gorgeous, and they were actresses, and it was. I always thought it was weird, like it was very intimidating. Because they were
you
so
can say
serious.
there was women there, so it was intimidating. That's all. I mean,
right.
It didn't need to be involved in acting, but yeah, no, I agree 100%. And I was not some seasoned actor. I was, knowing when I very.
And I really loved acting, and I loved. I just hated the classes. I don't like classes at all. I think they're stupid. I know some people need them, and there are some teachers that are the ones that can help you, but. That Sandy Dennis was just absolutely awful. But meanwhile, I'd meet all these girls in the class, and then we'd pair off and we'd go to their houses and practice, right? And they were all, one was cuter than the next. And it was confusing because you do scenes with them and they're like, wait, do they like me? But they all had boyfriends.
Well, I remember I had to go up to 88th and Broadway, or just between Broadway and whatever, Columbus, I guess. And, to work on a scene with a girl, and I got jumped in her lobby by two guys, and they took my wallet and my money, and
on 88th and Broadway, shit.
Yeah, this was back in 92, 91, and I went up to the door. I go, somebody stole my wallet. She goes, somebody stole your wallet? I go, yes.
Yeah, they don't care.
They took everything. They took everything. Yes! And she drove me crazy, and I just left. I left because I was mad at her.
Well, what happened with the girl you were supposed to practice with?
I left. I didn't stay. I went out. I literally went out. I had $20 other in my pocket, and I went and bought a pack of cigarettes.
Well, what did the girl say the next day in class when you didn't come by?
Well, I didn't. I stopped going to the class.
Oh, you stopped going to the class. I would have done the same thing. Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, that's yeah, exactly.
She was very cute.
Of course they were. I'm telling. They were all like that, and a lot. Most of them always had a boyfriend or something. So then it got awkward going to their house and practicing, and then sometimes the boyfriend would hang around. Oh, I guess this is your scene partner. It was always awkward. But if we could do it again, quite frankly, I'm pretty sure we would end up in the exact same situation.
Exactly.
So I always say, well, if I knew what I knew now and I could see myself in high school, I'd end up here either way.
Making pics with you on a podcast.
Exactly. I think we were just destined to do such things. I have a question for you. You have your podcast, Scary Monsters, and I like to make fun of you and the choices that you choose in the movies. Because I'm confused.
I don't find that funny.
I know you don't. That's what makes it funny for me. You just did this week. They're talking about The Purge, but why so late on The Purge? You're talking about the first Purge or the new one?
The first one.
Yeah. Why now? Why this?
We just fix it up. We grab them as they as they come to us. Sometimes I don't even think we've done The Exorcist yet, and we've been doing it for 200 movies. It's just haphazard.
Well, that should be your, when you get to the 200th episode or something,
I know it's going to be a big one.
All right, I'm not listening to that one. I want nothing about it. But I also know you did When a Stranger Calls, the remake. I remember the first one, and Fred was just talking about Charles Durning today.
Yeah,
I was going to
and
say,
Carol
oh my
Kane.
God, Carol Kane and Charles Durning. I remember that as a kid being terrified because it was the babysitter and he was in the house and it was really awful. Didn't he pull the kids apart or something?
Yeah, he made a whole mess there.
Yeah. So how was the remake?
Horrible.
Was the remake with Carol Kane and Charles Durning? Because I know they did a sequel.
Oh, did they? No, this was a complete remake.
It was called When a Stranger Calls Again.
And this was kind of this is more of a thriller than a horror. There wasn't much action. And
now let me ask you a question. It's a big deal. Does the killer rip apart the children in this one?
I don't think so. I think
they didn't have the guts to go there. They didn't have the guts to go there. This is not 1978. Okay, no. That was my question, because that was disturbing as shit when I, as a kid, and I'm like, who the hell was going to want to watch a movie like that?
Right.
And then it's funny because I think in the original one, Carol Kane gets a second babysitting job. Like,
it happens later.
Hire her again.
Yeah.
What was it? And it wasn't any good.
No, it was not very good. It was, there's so many horror movies, and so many of them are very average, which I'm sure is just an indication of how hard it is to make a good movie. But
sure.
Yeah, we watched a lot of average horror movies. It just happens.
It's funny, like you say, when you get a good one like a Get Out, which is so unexpected and so good. It is so rare. You're right. When it's like and that was a smaller movie too, in a way. I mean, it was a kind of a big one, but it's also a smaller first-time director, and that took everybody by surprise. I thought that was one of the greatest movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, I would agree 100%. Yeah.
And I thought that Brian Williams' daughter did an outstanding creepy fucking job.
Yes, yeah. When she was looking for her keys on the steps there, I was so convinced. I thought she was really, and then it was awesome. That was an awesome scene.
Let alone when she's looking for new candidates and just eating like Fruit Loops or something.
Right,
I mean, great acting job by somebody who I never thought was that great of an actress.
Yeah.
And I was all in, but really great acting job by that lead guy. Let alone Kathy, what's her name? The
Catherine Keener.
Catherine Keener.
Right.
Wow. Oh yeah, the way it just comes in, and when you find out, when you can plot a horror like that, where it just kind of builds. That's tough to do.
Yeah, it had great momentum. Really, really, really nice. Really peaked.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I know about it. Well, Rosemary's Baby, I finally was able to watch after in the daylight, like about 10 years ago, and I can't believe how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Alone, I think I might have even told you last time that I used to do my Ruth Gordon imitation, and it's on my list when I auditioned for Seinfeld.
Yeah, Ruth Gordon, Rosemary's Baby impression. I mean, wow.
You gotta learn to live a little. What's the big deal? We knew she was a loose cannon. Come on, come over, have some cake. You drink this down. Nobody appreciates it, but
I love it.
What? Anything Goes says Get Out was horrible. Are you crazy? Anything Goes says Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 was the greatest horror film of all time.
I'll have to look it up. I just watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, and it's so wonderful.
I just watched
part 2 is a comedy. So
what is?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is like a dark comedy. So it's a very different movie than part 1.
Yeah, and I think I saw that first one too recently, and it does hold up as what do you call it? Thank you, Anything Goes. He says my impression of Ruth Gordon was outstanding. I always thought so too, but apparently the Letterman people didn't think as much. The Letterman people in 1996 didn't seem to care for my 30-year-old impression. I'm telling you, Nick, I showed it on my podcast, my list of what I was doing for Letterman in 1996.
Told me, yeah.
Ruth Gordon, Charlton Heston, Michael Caine, James Spader, all stuff that people would be like, what did you think was going to happen? You thought you were going to get Letterman with this set? Let alone, like I said, my gambling stuff. Anything Goes says part 2 is not a comedy. They have a chainsaw fight with Toby Hooper and Leatherface. Well, that sounds like a comedy to me. I don't know whether
That's Dennis Hopper and Leatherface.
That's what I thought. Toby Hooper's a director. Toby Hooper directed.
He directed a lot of stuff.
Poltergeist.
I think he also did The Dark Half by Stephen King with Timothy Hutton, I think.
What's the dark one called with Johnny Depp?
I don't know what that movie is.
It's like where his can't think of it either. All right, well, why don't we get to the football picks, since that's the most important thing, and we can go back to talking fun stuff after. But if you don't mind,
Is Fred here?
No, he left.
Oh.
Are you mad?
Well, I wanted to tell him I was a big fan.
Really? You've never met?
I've never met him, no. I mean, I think I've seen him at the Hollywood Improv a few times, but I remember saying he has one of my favorite Letterman spots of all time.
Really? What's like one of the gags?
He's talking about how he lost a button on his shirt and he's never going to get it fixed, so he should just throw the whole shirt away. And, like stuff like that. He's like, I'm just like that, I lose the cap to a pen. I'm like, what's the point? It's going to be dead.
I know. He is great. I didn't know you guys never met. I think he'd like to meet you too. He's a really terrific guy like you, and really funny and a professional, and obviously so much unbelievable acting work that he's done, with great. We were talking about that he was in this series. It's in his book called Singer and Sons with Harold Gould and Esther Roll.
Wow.
And Harold Gould worked with Woody Allen and Mel Brooks in one lifetime.
I know Harold Gould. I know exactly. Harold Gould was don't tell me he was in Love and Death, right?
Exactly. I told him the scene where I know the line where he's like, if a man said that to me, I'd slap him in the face. I am a man. I meant a much shorter man. It's one of my favorite lines of all time. I think about it all the time.
That movie is, depending on the month of my life, my favorite Woody Allen movie.
Really? Love and Death?
Yeah. I mean, some of that stuff where that guy, that ghost wakes up and he wants Woody Allen to take the ring back to the jeweler.
Right. That's not F. Murray Abraham, is it?
No, it's just some guy. I mean, it's not just some guy, but it's, yeah.
Yeah, I like that movie a lot too. But since he's done other work, I think it's tough because you want to say Annie Hall. I mean, that meant so much to me, and it was such a departure. But at this point, I think either Hannah and Her Sisters or Crimes and Misdemeanors might be my favorite.
Yeah, I love Crimes and Misdemeanors. I also like Broadway Danny Rose. It's just I think because I haven't seen Love and Death as much. I know Annie Hall like just back and forth
backwards and forwards, right? Me too.
Forth. I'd love to see Crimes and Misdemeanors again, and Husbands and Wives is great.
I never liked that one. I didn't like that as much. All right, let's get to the picks. We have a Thursday night game. Oh, he says it says Nightmare on Elm Street is the one with Johnny Depp. About briefly, but that wasn't the one I was talking about. I feel like it was called Dark something with Johnny Depp, but I can't think of what it was. Anyway,
Johnny Depp? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I thought, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Kansas City Chiefs against the Los Angeles Chargers in LA on Thursday night. I love the Chargers, but if you're going to beat up on the Giants, I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs. If it's only 3, the Chargers are that kind of team that lose games like this, but they win the ones they're supposed to beat. So I'm going to go Kansas City. They're back, and they're playing unbelievably. I have no problem picking Kansas City. I did that for you, Nick, because you are a Chiefs fan.
I am from Kansas City. I grew up a crazy fanatic. I think they're peaking at the right time. I'm picking the Chiefs.
Nice. Anonymous said Dark Shadows, but that's not what I'm thinking either. I don't know what.
I think it was Judd Nelson.
Is it the backwards dark?
Yeah, that's the dark backwards or something. Isn't it about a stand-up comic with an arm connected to it?
Yes. That's not Johnny Depp.
Nelson. That's Judd Nelson.
I don't know how I got those guys mixed up, but at least I figured it out. That was driving me crazy with the hand. I said the hand thing, but I got the actor wrong. Mike, what do you think?
Oh, Chiefs.
Yeah, and the chat room looks like it's all Chiefs too, right?
Yeah.
Chiefs across the board on Thursday night. Now we get into the Saturday games. It's that time of the year. College is over.
Isn't that nice?
It's the best. I'm still very angry that college games, the playoffs, are on December 31st. I think that is the worst idea. They should be on January 1st. Why they're putting them on New Year's Eve, I just don't understand for the life of me. Who's watching these college games on New Year's Eve? It just doesn't add up. But I'm glad they're finished. And now we have kind of a crappy game. The Browns against the Raiders. Now, you see what I did here is the line changed on the Browns. -5.5 they were. Now they went down to 3. I looked it up, and apparently a lot of the Browns have COVID.
Yeah, I saw that. A bunch of them, Landry and some other people. I'm going to take can I go?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to pick the Raiders then because of the COVID.
I think I am too, but although COVID didn't matter last night when the LA Rams were full of COVID and they somehow beat the Cardinals, but I'm going to go with the Raiders. Yes. Even though they're a mess.
They are a mess.
This is a game they could win. Mike?
Oof. How many of them have COVID?
I think 8.
Oh, wow.
Maybe
if
more.
it were 7, I'd go with them. I'm going to go with the Raiders.
Nice.
You're going to go with the Raiders?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the gallery saying? It looks like everybody's saying Raiders.
Yep.
All right. Now, this is a really interesting one. Now, first of all, this game has been flexed. I didn't know you could do that on a Saturday night. And Belichick is furious.
Oh, I didn't
because
see that.
they were on a bye week. And he feels like they're like, now they've ruined this bye week because they flexed them to Saturday night. And this is very strange. The Colts and the Patriots. The Patriots were favored by 1. And this morning, these lines I got the week before everybody played, but the Colts and the Patriots were off. And now that line is moved where the Colts are favored by 2.5. And I don't know why. It makes me want to take the Colts, which I think I will do in this case. Something's wrong. Why aren't the Patriots completely favored?
Oh, boy. Go ahead, Mike. I'm thinking.
I'm going to stay with the Pats.
It's probably the right move. I don't know if by Saturday I'll keep that bet, but for today, I'm going to take the Colts and look at these points are going crazy. The chat room is picking the Pats, I believe.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm going to go Pats. I don't know why.
Because it's the right move. The line change is what's weird about it, moving from +1 to 2.5. And like I said, I get these lines after we sign off. I get these early lines. And when they change that radically, I'll show them. But these two teams didn't play this week. So I don't know why there's such a heavy line movement. It's very odd. That's why
I think they're still recovering from last week's losses in terms of betting.
Yeah.
Well, what are you saying? Those teams were on a bye week.
No, the bookies.
Oh, the bookies. Well, see.
They're just throwing everything out there.
Interesting. You might be right. They might be trying to fool Dave Juskow. Or they might be trying to fool the public saying, oh, I get the Pats +2.5. That's what we fall for. Here are the pathetic Giants. I have no problem taking the Cowboys here to beat the crap out of them, even though they're not doing that. I love them this week. The Giants stink. Glennon stinks. The coach stinks. Everything about the Giants stinks. The Cowboys should win by 20.
I'm going to pick the Giants. I'm just going to say, what the hell? I have no real reason.
Their defense isn't horrible, the Giants, although last week you would never know that by the Chargers. The Chargers beat the crap out of them.
Mac's not playing great. I know that the Dallas defense is crazy good, but I don't know. I'm going to take a chance.
I agree with Nick. I also, after Thanksgiving, that's a game they should have won. I think it's going to
right.
I don't think they're going to win by 10. So
okay. What is the I see Cowboys and Judy's picking the Cowboys. Is that it? Is that all everybody's got?
So far, yeah.
I didn't know Judy Gold was on this show.
Not Judy Gold. It's my Aunt Judy.
Oh.
My dad's sister. Oh God. It's like this game sucks. It's the Jaguars against the Houston Texans, and the Jaguars are favored by 3.5. Now, granted, I picked the Houston Texans last week and I lost. I mean, to the Seahawks. Houston stinks. But what am I supposed to take the Jaguars minus 3.5 by any, like, are they, I got to take the Texans because I can't in good conscience give the Jaguars any that they have to win by 4. It's not right. That should be a pick 'em game. And they're getting a 3 for being the home team, but that extra half a point, I don't know. Nick, what do you think?
I'm going to go Jaguars. I don't know why. Houston's just completely inept.
They are.
Yeah.
But the Jaguars just keep getting the shit beat out of them. And
I know. And
they should win. You're right. I hate taking the Houston, but I would never put money on it. But here, I'll just take the points and maybe they'll lose by 3. Mike?
It is hard to see either team getting 3 points. So I'm going to go with Jacksonville. I think Houston is just that bad.
They are that bad. What is everybody saying here? Nothing. Everybody's in the chat room for a while now when we need the picks. I know Marcy's not here today, so we'll wait until they chime in some more. This is an interesting one. The Titans, who played, I knew they were going to win because I think they were playing Jacksonville, right? Or was that were they playing last week, or were they playing? I think they were playing Jacksonville. The Pittsburgh, I knew they were going to cover against the Ravens or vice versa. They came back against the Vikings, but the Vikings stink. Titans aren't that great, but I have no problem taking the Titans here -2. Pittsburgh is up and down. They play okay, and then they don't. So I'm good with this week, them not playing very good.
I have not seen Pittsburgh play great at any point this season. They're average, and then they're bad. And so I'm going to go with Tennessee.
Yeah, that's the right move. Mike?
I think Pittsburgh might surprise us. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh.
I think you might be right. Ben Roethlisberger really, I mean, they came back from 29-0 last week to almost, win. It's tough not to take them, but I like it. Looks like the chat room where Aunt Judy is taking Jacksonville and Tennessee. Oh God. Okay. Well, we all know I'm taking the Dolphins, and if the Jets win, that's delightful for me. So Nick, the Jets and the stupid Dolphins.
Definitely the Dolphins. I think that coach is going to coach one more year and then be gone.
You mean from the Jets?
Yeah.
I think they have to give him more of a chance.
Really, more than 2 years? What if they win 2 games next year?
I don't know. You might. I hope that. I hate that. That's my team. Mike,
I hate the Jets cannot get it together under any circumstance.
It's really embarrassing. They have bad ownership. Woody Johnson was an ambassador. He wasn't even there at the games. I don't think he wants to put money into the team. And let's face it, his shot wasn't that great. I had it. Talking about the Johnson & Johnson shot. Hey, Mike.
Wow.
Yeah, Dolphins, especially with their bye week.
Did they have a bye week this week?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they did, didn't they? Good point. Although bye weeks, I don't know whether they've been counting for anything lately, except for the Chiefs. Bye weeks haven't been like they used to be, it seems, this year. Looks like Aunt Judy's picking the Dolphins. Everybody's picking the Dolphins. Why wouldn't we all pick against the Jets? You'd have to be kind of an idiot to take the Jets, almost like taking the Lions. No offense to our friend in the chat room. So here's another game. I don't know why. I have not figured out why. Washington against the Eagles. The Eagles were on a bye week, I believe. That line moved from 2.5 to 5. I don't know why. Washington is good. I was surprised that they lost to Dallas at home a little bit. I kind of liked that one.
I was too.
So Washington's such a strange team. They seem to eke out wins.
They don't have a ton of talent.
No, exactly. So I'm gonna take Washington plus the 5 points. I bet you that line goes down. But I'm gonna take another chance on Washington.
Washington gets 5.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take Washington.
Yeah, because I don't know. I'm going to try one more week and see if they're a very scrappy team. I like the plus things, even though sometimes I like the Eagles to rack up points. Mike,
I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
it's probably the best move. Aunt Judy's going with the Eagles. And here we come to, what is it, Anonymous, who loves his Lions. But fact of the matter is they really, really stink. They used to keep stuff close, but the Cardinals are going to be not only pissed the way they played on Monday, but they seem to play well away from home. So that game should be 21-3, at least. Nick?
You know what? I'm going to be a jackass and pick the Lions.
The chat room will be happy about that, though. Mike, what do you think? You don't care for my theory either, or you like it?
No, I agree. Cardinals.
Yeah. Oh, anything goes. That's right. Sorry. Anything goes. Yes. He loves his Lions. I'm going to pick them for him. Oh, even Aunt Judy picked Detroit. Surprising. But I'm sorry anything goes. I really think, the Cardinals are pissed and the Lions just cannot get it together. They, I watched a lot of those games and it's just when they're right there, they just blow it. And then you're like, I'm never picking them again. Now here's another game. There's no way I'm not taking the Bills to beat the crap out of the really bad Panthers at home. 2 bad losses. The Bills are going to win this game 48-3. Nick?
I'm going to go with you. I think you're right, Dave. They have talent. They have tons of talent. You can't name anyone on the Panthers really that is going to make a difference. So I'm going Bills.
The Panthers have been playing horribly, and the Bills had to play the Bucs and the Patriots after short weeks. They're going to be fired up, I think. So, Mike?
I agree. I think the Panthers have more famous hot dog vendors than players.
Yeah, and the problem is Cam Newton he's always good for the first game and then he just goes downhill. It's exactly what happened when he was on the Pats last year, So he might be through. Aunt Judy is saying the Bills. Aunt Judy is saying the Bills. Oh, and she was saying the Lions too. Okay. Bills it is. Right. This is an interesting one again. Now this was taken, the spread was taken before the game was played, before Cincinnati lost in a horrible fashion to San Francisco. And what did Denver do? Was Denver on a bye?
No, they beat the Browns. Not the Browns.
Yeah, who'd they beat? Isn't that funny that we can't remember from week to week?
They beat someone that's not horrible.
Lions.
Oh.
Well, they did beat somebody that's
horrible. Right. The Broncos beat the crap out of the Lions. Now, this line has changed where the Broncos were +3, but after Cincinnati lost, the Broncos are now favored -1.5. So even though I like the Bengals, you know what? When I see a line movement like that, I'll usually go with the Broncos, but I got to go with the Bengals to come back. I got to go with the Bengals. They lost in bad fashion. They're one of those teams. They're going to make the playoffs. They're not ready. They're going to be good someday with Joe Burrow. They're just not right there yet, but I think they'll win this game. Nick?
I'm going to be a goofball and pick the Broncos. I don't know.
It's the right move. You're following the lines. That's the smart move.
Maybe they have a little momentum.
See, Aunt Judy's on the Broncos too. Mike, what do you think?
I'm going to go Bengals.
Nice.
Yeah, I kind of like them to bounce back, but Denver's weird. They got blown out by Kansas City, which they should, but then they beat the shit out of the Detroit Lions, which they should. And the Bengals lost a really, real heartbreaker last week. Yeah. That was really messed up. They won in overtime, and then with the new rules, they lost. And so here we are. I am taking San Francisco. The Falcons stink. San Francisco had a great game, and sometimes that's a letdown the next week, but the Falcons are that bad where San Francisco should totally cover that 8.5, at least win by 10. Nick?
I hate that coach Shanahan, but you know what? I'm going to pick the Falcons, actually. I'm going to go for all upsets this week.
It's funny. For me, I think it's a perfect storm. The Falcons won last week against the stupid Panthers. That's how bad the Panthers are. And San Francisco won. It's like in a tough way. So I like the perfect storm of San Francisco coming in and just the Falcons were able to win their game. That's that, week. They'll win maybe a couple more if they're playing Jacksonville again, but they're not going to beat San Francisco, who's playing very, very well. Mike?
San Francisco.
Yeah. And Aunt Judy is picking Atlanta. Interesting.
Judy and I have similar tastes.
This is a tough one too, because I don't know how the Rams beat the Cardinals. Like I said, for some reason the Cardinals aren't that great at home for some reason, but the Rams, should they beat the Seahawks? Yeah. And who did the Seahawks beat last week? Houston. Are the Rams back? Did last night prove something? Do they have a hangover because it's a short week? I'm going to take the Rams. Damn it. I can't take the Seahawks. They're not very good. They beat up on Houston last week. Houston.
I'm going to take the Rams. I don't love the team, but they do have a lot of talent. Jeez.
Aunt Judy's picking Seattle. Mike, what do you think?
I agree with y'all. The Rams.
Look, Mike's Texan lingo came out. I agree with y'all. So anything goes right. Got a call from a friend who was working overtime, running his attitude into the ground. I agree with all of Aunt Judy's picks. She's fantastic. Right, because she picked the Lions. Good work. Anything goes. You're absolutely right. Okay. I, again, love Green Bay here over Baltimore. Baltimore, they say that Lamar Jackson is playing, but he got injured last week. He hasn't been playing the best of his career. They do keep things interesting, but Green Bay seems to be on a roll. Do I think this is close? If I'm getting Green Bay less than 7, I don't mind taking Green Bay. They don't care about cold weather climates. I like Green Bay in this one a lot.
Yeah, I like Green Bay. I think that Lamar Jackson, if he's got an ankle sprain and he's just not going to be able to run.
They're saying he's playing, but I don't know if that's going to be.
Yeah, I don't know. 70%, I'm guessing.
Mike?
Oh, Green Bay all the way.
Yeah, and Aunt Judy's picking because she loves the quarterback's tush, and that's how she's always played and always remained triumphant. She's been telling me that for years. She picks by the quarterback tushies. All right. Well, this is the Sunday night game for some reason. Again, the perfect storm again. This is flawless. Tampa Bay minus 10.5. They haven't been covering a lot of spreads. They've been having trouble. Actually, this is much tougher than I think, but I love that the Saints beat up on the Jets, but the Saints actually stink. And that Taysom Hill, I think his name is, he's not very good. But the Buccaneers haven't been covering spreads, and the Saints defense is pretty good. Actually, now I really had oh man, am I going to pick the Saints here? I had it all week that I was going to go all in on the Bucs.
I don't want to influence you, but I'm picking the Saints.
I think you have to. I don't think the Bucs. Oh yeah, damn it! I'm going to pick the Saints. I didn't think I was going to do that. I just talked myself into it. I thought because the Saints beat the Jets, they beat up on the Jets. Big deal. They still stink. And Tampa Bay's great. They're definitely going to win, but would they win by 10.5? Mike?
I'm going to try the Bucs.
Yeah, I think that is the way to go. The chat room has not picked anything yet, so we'll wait on their call. Now, Monday night, I mean, this game, we're hearing Bucs. Monday night, oh, boy, this is tough. Chicago played pretty good at the beginning against Green Bay, but we all knew that was going nowhere.
Yeah, that was
the Vikings were lucky to still be in the playoff hunt, somehow being up 29-0 and beating Pittsburgh. I normally would like the Vikings to beat up on the Bears, but I think the Vikings are just as good as the Bears. I'm going to take the Bears plus the 4. I hate this game.
Oh, really? You're taking the Bears? I'm going to pick. I think the Vikings are going to play well this week, and that's where I'm going. The Bears are horrible.
They're horrible, but they were in the game for a second against Green Bay, and the Vikings are just weird, and they play down to their opponents. So that's why I kind of like it. Mike?
Minnesota.
One. Minnesota, probably the right move. And what is the chat room picking? Minnesota. Aunt Judy with the picks. There's our picks for week 15. 4 more weeks. Right, 16, 78. 3 more weeks left. 3 more. There's a week 18 this year. So very exciting stuff. thank you for helping us make the picks, Nick.
I was thrilled. It's always fun, and I enjoyed your lovely banter.
Here, let's. I just had a couple of slides for you that we can share some plugs or something. What?
You're going to show pictures of me, and I'm going to get mad.
No, you won't get mad. I'm not going to make fun or anything. It's all good stuff to help you. All right, I'm sharing, Mike. The first thing I'm showing, I don't know whether you heard about this or saw this.
Yeah, Ron Harper.
Rutgers.
Yeah,
Rutgers last week. I feel like maybe right after the show, or maybe it was Thursday. They beat the number 1 team in basketball with a last-second shot here with 0.4 seconds. This guy Ron Harper Jr. put it up, and they won. It was really exciting. First time Rutgers in history ever did that. It was really, really great. Tonight, Steph Curry has an opportunity to be the greatest three-point shooter in NBA history.
Did you go to Rutgers?
I went there for summer school.
Oh, okay.
A lot of my friends went there from high school.
Right.
So, and my niece went there. She still goes there now to dental school. So I'm always rooting for Rutgers. I love that they're in the Big Ten now. And actually, I went to Ithaca College, and they just closed down Cornell today because everyone has COVID.
Wow.
And that's in Ithaca, New York, where it's like pleasant. So this dog won the dog show about 3 weeks ago, right after Thanksgiving, right? And he won 2 years in a row. It's like never happened. He's the GOAT. He's like the greatest of all time, right? So this dog is getting all this praise. He won 2 years in a row. But what has he done? This is a dog that's helping kids receive the vaccine. That dog should win the goddamn National Dog Show. That dog's helping people.
That's funny.
Isn't that great? He's a therapy dog in Rhode Island.
Yeah, I never thought of you as that sentimental, but that's cute.
I know. Isn't that nice? That would work for me if I was a kid and getting the vaccine.
I thought you were going the other way with it. I thought there was a scandal with the dog. Like it was just like 2 dudes in a suit or something.
No, I'm not allowed to talk about this photo or this guy.
Why? Because his name's Diego?
Yeah, that's why, because his name's Diego. This guy, this week when the Army played Navy, he was a linebacker who, had a lot of a reason why they won. And I don't think we're allowed to even say his name on this podcast anymore, right?
I'm busy right now. I can't even look at the screen.
Well, I can't say it, right, Mike?
Don't drag me into this.
I just thought it's like so messed up what he's supposed to do. I don't know. I know Nick's really excited about Magic Mike 3 coming out, so I thought I would I know that's speaking of this. All right, now enough of that nonsense. I just wanted to plug the podcast, Scary Monsters. I like this. You look very handsome here.
Yeah.
I like this cartoon caricature of you.
It's a little silly.
But I was wondering if you heard about this Myths and Legends parade in Columbia that they have every year. This was on Wednesday. Now, this is a parade. Now, I hate parades. Everybody knows I hate parades.
Everybody knows that.
Well, marching bands and nonsense. This is a fun parade. Look at this. It's all like your kind of Scary Monsters thing parade, I mean, look at this kind of stuff. That's great. That's exciting. That's a nighttime exciting parade. Look at this shit. This is exactly right up your alley.
Yeah.
Right? I knew you guys would like this. You guys should have been doing your podcast from here if you wanted to go to Columbia, which you would not. But this is the kind of stuff, I just think is great. Those kind of things are terrifying. That's like what is that? That's like that's like the end of Beetlejuice, like that guy.
Or something.
It's called a Weeping Women of Legend or Weeping Woman of Legend or something. I don't know. And then, you have stuff like this. That's an exciting parade for me. It's also exciting. This poster. I love this poster. Do you only put this out during this time of the year?
Yeah.
Because it's the Nightmare Before Christmas pose. Who's drawing this for you? This is terrific.
Some fans sent it in. They sent it in for free. They just did it and gave it to us.
It's really nice. It's great. Yeah. And here we are. I think this was my birthday? You, me, Usman Eve, and David Tell?
Yes, I think it was.
having a couple of steak dinners at Wolfgang's. Yeah, it was all right. That was the night. I was so surprised. Everybody ate stupid. Like David Tell likes a well-done steak. I don't even know why he bothers coming there. It's embarrassing to the chef. I think you had a filet mignon. I always remember what everybody had. I think Russ had a burger, so then I couldn't get my usual steak for 2, but I had steak for 1, which was just as delicious.
For 2, yeah.
But nobody else wanted that. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? That's all. That was painless, yes?
Painless.
I just wanted to promote your show because you're kind enough to come on here, let alone your gigs. Oklahoma City at the Looney Bin.
Right.
Have you been there before? Is that a nice place?
I have. It's a really fun place. I really had a great time last time I was there, and I'm not just saying that.
Yeah, no, I believe you. I know you play a lot of Midwest clubs. I've never been to any of the clubs.
I'm from Kansas, so I've got a lot of contacts in the Midwest.
And you feel comfortable out there too.
I do. Those are my people.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, anything goes. Happy birthday! My birthday was in August. That picture was from August. Anything goes. Thanks. Sorry, I should have opened with that. That was from 5 months ago. But I love that Nick has joined our group because Artie Lang is out. Because he hasn't been around. But when Artie comes back, we're not sure what to do with Nick. It's awkward. I shouldn't have mentioned this in front of him. All right, you can be included. You're a wonderful addition to the group of 4.
Yeah, well, it's good to be part of it.
Plus, you were there when Artie was there anyway, so we knew Artie was on his way out. So
steakhouse there in Midtown.
Yeah, well, that was awful because then I was like, we got to get rid of Nick because you had to order early and leave. You can't come to dinner with us if you have a spot.
All right.
Well, I guess that's only on my birthday. That was Russ's birthday. So if he doesn't care, why should I care? But I do. It's problematic.
Well, I'm here for you.
Meanwhile, I don't know whether you know, but the Super Bowl has just been announced that it's going to be in Las Vegas in 2024. They moved it from New Orleans because now that they've moved the Super Bowl a week later, it conflicts with Mardi Gras.
Right. I knew that, yeah.
So in 2025, they'll bring it back to the Superdome because for some reason, Mardi Gras in 2025 is in March. I didn't know it floated around.
I didn't either.
Like Hanukkah. Like I thought Mardi Gras was first week or second week in February every year. And then I realized it can't be because they played so many Super Bowls in February in New Orleans that,
it
it
has to do with Easter.
What do you mean? In what way?
Because it's after Fat Tuesday. It's like got to do with Lent and all that other stuff. That's why it happens when it happens.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I did not know that. I should have put Johnny Carson in my routine for the Letterman show. Anything goes, as New Orleans will be underwater by 2024. You're so right. And Aunt Judy said, thank you. Nice meeting you, Nick.
Nice meeting you, Aunt Judy.
Thank you, Nick. Well done.
I like your theory on picking teams.
I figured you would. That's why Nick is also looking to Magic Mike 3. He's very excited about it. And, well, Nick, where are you this weekend? Anywhere you going to be at the Cellar?
I'll be at the Cellar.
Nick will be at the Comedy Cellar. This is the Comedy Cellar show, and Nick will be performing there. And if you haven't seen Nick perform, he's so great. He's really good, and he's really funny. And the funniest part about Nick is when you just hear him breathing into the microphone. Sometimes that's just funny.
I have asthma. Yeah, I know.
The fact that he has material to go with it is even better. So, Nick, you are the best. I know, as gay as this is, we're becoming very close friends, and it makes me very happy. I know that's a little sentimental, but
thanks, Dave.
I like it. I like it a lot. And thank you so much for coming on last minute like this too. I really appreciate it.
Tell Mikey, great seeing you or hearing you.
Great hearing you too.
I'll see you there.
Yep, Nick Griffin, everybody. Thank you, Nick. Thank you so much for joining us again. Nick will be in the Comedy Cellar in Las Vegas on the 10th through the 15th and in Oklahoma City, January 5th through the 8th. I don't know where everybody's located. I do know, however, and Marcy's not here today, that he will be in Kentucky in, I think, February. Maybe I'll even come down to see him that day, and we'll all hang out with Marcy. Marcy, I said, had to go see A Christmas Carol. Anyway, we have to go. And so next week, my guest will be Paul Lauren, musician. We're going to play a little Vince Giraldi, a little Christmas music, and then Alex Sulkin from Family Guy. You know we love him. And the week after that, Bonnie McFarlane and Scott Ackerman. So super fun times to be had. Those people will not cancel. A musical show for the first hour next week. A little Christmas magic, a little holiday cheer, and that will be our show, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Thank you, chat room. You guys are amazing. Thank you for staying with us and making the picks and for this 2-hour extravaganza. Thank you, Mike Suarez, for putting everything together and doing that research. We'll see you next time on the Comedy Cellar Football Show and The Contender. Good night, everybody.